Welcome to the Digital Pathology Place. My name is Alexandra Zhurav, and if this is your first time here, please consider subscribing. This video is my interview with Yuchun Ding for the Digital Pathology Podcast. Yuchun Ding is a researcher at the Newcastle University. He's a computer scientist doing research in the area of digital pathology, and he is the founder of Xwow. Xwow is an organization that brings microscopes and pathology to underprivileged areas. So listen to his story. I hope you will enjoy, and if you do, please share and visit us on our website, digitalpathologyconsulting.com.
So welcome to the Digital Pathology Consulting Podcast. Today my guest is Dr. Yuchun Ding, the founder of Xwow, an organization which makes the microscopes easier to access in places where they are not so easily accessible. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Ding.
Hi,
Nice to hear
Alexandra.
you.
Nice to meet you.
So tell me about yourself first.
All
Let's
right.
start
Okay.
with you as
Myself.
a person.
So I'm older computer scientist from Newcastle University. So since 2013, I work on whole slice image analysis, counting cells, tissue types. Well, so many of them I can't remember. I think I start with the brains that I do lots of things for the retina, for the stem cells, flow cytometry. So many of them I can't remember. But one day, like after all these years, one day I start asking myself, well, I've done so many things for the doctor, so it sounds like I'm doing lots of things in healthcare. But how many lives have I saved? No, not really. I haven't saved anyone. Just some papers, some software nobody used. So yeah. So a bit ashamed. So why after so many years I did nothing? My status as a computer scientist with no experience in biology was not really the good answer I was looking for. That's not a good excuse. So I was thinking, yeah, I have to do something to make a change. So let's start with what pathologists really do at work. So I've been emailing people and say, can I spend a day following around, see what you do, what the typical days for pathology is, and one of them actually kindly invite me to the hospital to follow him the whole day. So it was quite interesting because it started from the morgue to look at postmortem where they open up everything. I didn't expect this. I didn't know anything about this. I didn't know that's what some of the pathologists do, forensic pathology. So it was quite fascinating. So right, that was interesting. So after that, I said I have to do some experiment at home. So since I couldn't get any equipment in the computer lab, it's health hazard. So I bought some microscopes.
Okay, so you basically started reaching out to pathologists. This is how we connected actually on social media. And this is how I learned about Xwow.
Yeah. So it's interesting because the pathologists around me are always so busy I can't see them. But I get the chance to see lots of pathologists like you guys on Twitter all the time. They interact, they reply, so they chat, they share images I've never seen.
That is true. The pathology community is very active on Twitter.
Yeah, or even Facebook. So So that I thought that if I want to learn what pathologists do, I have to do some experiments. So I actually asked the hospital see if they have any spare equipment I can borrow, but no, we can't. This and that policy, blah blah blah. So I get my microscope myself. I'm staining kids and learn at home.
Wow.
Here they are. I bought multiple just to see. Because at the beginning I have no idea what the microscope is, what the differences are, and then I also bought this the staining kits, which they use for the rapid stainer. The quick one, the really fun.
So just remind us, what is your background? You say you didn't know anything about pathology. Who are you?
Computer science. I'm like 200% IT
Computer IT.
Computer,
Okay.
yeah. If I go back to primary school, I probably still fail my exam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
now you're using this for a different purpose. And
Yeah.
so tell me about Xwow, the organization you're active in and you created.
Well, Xwow. So I did some fun experiments like pricking my own fingers, making blood smears, and doing analysis with my own samples, and put fun posts on Twitter. I mean, get people to like, but that was fun. But that was only the first step because it was just from some to share some images, some likes and retweets, but really didn't help anybody. So that's why I start to look at even further what exactly I can do to make a difference in people's lives. So that's when I realized that microscopes are expensive. Well, they are not that expensive, but still it's expensive for resource limited settings. So people in Africa, African, Caribbean, India, lots of places. Even some places in the UK they can't afford a microscope. So I'll start with that to make microscope easier to assess. So that's why actually my wife and I created Xwow, because she's more like with a bit of business background, so she can teach me or share me some of the things I don't know before, and I can share with her. So we would basically work together with our own saving to start. So the one day, one of the microbiology student from Nigeria, from the University of Abuja, I guess. He shared me this text. He explained to me. So the exact quote is the study of microorganisms require that we students conduct experiment using the microscope, discussing with one another, and get practically involved with our hands and eyes. But instead, we remain passively participant, expected only to listen, but not to see things for ourselves. So basically, as a microbiology university student from the capital of Nigeria, they've never used the actual microscope before. So that's a bit shocking.
Because they didn't have microscope.
They didn't have microscope, and they've learned all microbiology, this and that, without actually get their hands on the microscope before. So quite shocking, because even I was little in China, like I use microscopes, and I think all of us get a chance to use a microscope. It's like the ratio is probably 1 to 2 or something. That's 20 years ago.
I am originally from Poland, and from primary school, we did have microscopes. They were the old type with a mirror that we have to catch the light, but we did have microscopes. So
So it's shocking. So basically, these commands mirror the reason why we created this organization, so trying to make microscope easier to access.
So where are you located at the moment?
At the moment, I'm based in Newcastle.
In UK, Newcastle, okay.
UK, Newcastle. So I do all my research in the daytime. I do Xwow in my spare time.
So who exactly is Xwow for?
So who exactly?
Find the people.
Anyone who has the skills to make a difference with the microscope, they cannot afford one. We're trying to help. There's lots of science-minded children or doctors or pathologists who have really good skills in education or cancer diagnosis, but sometimes they just can't get their hands on the microscope, or they're one of their own microscope. Even I'm computer science, I have 1, 2, 3, and there's another one in my office, 4 of them. but people like them, but actual pathologists doesn't have their own microscope. So that's the people we're trying to help. Because if I can't cure cancer or diagnose cancer or help people's lives and treat people, but I can do something to help those people who can save lives.
Definitely. Okay, so wherever there is no microscope or a microscope is needed, Xwow is trying to help.
Exactly.
Okay, so tell me about the projects that you already have done.
Okay, so the
Let's start. When did you start? When did you start Xwow?
So the very first, well, it's actually not long ago. So December, beginning of December last year.
Okay.
So less than a year old. So the very first, one of the very first project we did was, so I actually have one of these, the mini one, the mini microscope. So so I said, how do I start? I have some microscope to give away. So how do I start? So I basically put down this Twitter post saying, it's Christmas soon. So I always want to be Santa when I was a kid. I have a spare microscope and I want to give away and make a child dream come true. So, Twitter friends, please help me. Let me find the child who needed that. So help me achieve my dream to become Santa for once. So it's quite amazing. People start to retweet and sharing the tweet. 2 days later, there's one person from the UK. Left a post saying, this is amazing. My child have a really simple microscope and he's probably need one. So yes, let's do this. So I just pack it up and send it to him. And let's see if I can. I don't know if I can share your image or something.
I think we can share a screen here. So if you share the screen with me, it should be recorded.
Well. I don't know, but it's difficult. It's difficult to share this, I think. Well, anyway, let's carry on. So
okay.
it's a bit tricky. So basically, I gave this. So I basically gave this microscope to a 9-year-old child called Josh in the UK, from the southwest of the UK, and his mom, who got in touch, is actually a biology teacher. Biology teacher, so she could assist his boy to make good use of the microscope.
Okay.
So and then after that he got the microscope. His mom shared me lots of photos of him using the microscope. He even did a school project about hunting water bears with the microscope he gave him.
Okay.
That was really good. So basically this successful first project encouraged us to keep it going. So that's why we have so many more projects. So like the second project, the big one, which my colleague's been he's a hematological pathologist in the Newcastle hospital. So they have this remote telepathology consultation with a government hospital in Malawi, where in Malawi there's no pathologist, and they have to they make a cytology smear because it's a pediatric cancer unit, and the children whose children come with a big balls on the neck, so it's probably kind of lymphoma, and the oncologist would make a cytology smear and then use the camera attached to the microscope and send it back to the UK. So my colleagues from pathology will provide the diagnosis and advice for treatment, so they can remotely receive the ideas and get the children treated. But the problem with that was the images sent back was really unclear. So the camera was really old and the image quality is super bad. And then because they only have to send a tiny field of regions, field of view. So that wasn't enough. Actually, they did a statistical analysis 50% of the cases sent back was non-diagnostic.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes they have to make a guess or the other way. So, but then I said that could be useful with digital pathology. So I thought,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's a thing called manual image whole slice image scanner. Can you afford it? No. Okay, yeah, it's reasonable because the stories that they told me that in Malawi, some of the parents will carry their sick child for walk for 3 days to get to the hospital, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the child already dead on their back, or literally on
Okay.
the doorstep. So literally on the doorstep. And the worst part is that they can't even afford to hire somebody to carry the sick child back home. So that's how poor they are. So not let alone like £1,000 of equipment, so they just can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's let me launch a fundraiser so we can get money and get them the equipment so we can do
Mm-hmm.
digital pathology and telepathology. So we're quite lucky. So in 2 months we managed to raise £5,500 to get
Mm-hmm.
them the equipment. And it was good timing. So our colleagues was flying to Malawi. So I just, yeah, we got it. Let me buy this. I take it with you so we can do telepathology in Malawi.
Congratulations on that.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
actually the first project I heard
Yeah.
of Xwow, and then I started following and started
Yeah.
getting a bit more interested. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So that then we got on the news and people start to invite us to write articles. So that maybe we found what people need. We're on the right spot. Okay, so let's keep it doing. So there's some money left from the fund because we didn't need a £5,500 to get the
Mm-hmm.
equipment. So there
Mm-hmm.
are some money left. So we've been looking for where shall we do the next project? Until one day we saw this Twitter post actually shared by Jared Gardner,
Yes.
probably
Mm-hmm.
one of the celebrities on Twitter.
He has a huge following.
Yeah,
He is a pathologist with huge social media following. Yes.
yeah. Hello, Jared. Yeah.
We greet.
Yeah. So he shared this tweet about this Nigerian pathologist. He was mentioning something about he has to use his own saving to get all the equipment, the camera unit, to be on the Twitter community so that he can share the cases and
Mm-hmm.
get educated or educated others like everybody else are doing. So, but then he had that comes a lot of sacrifice, like his own time, his own money, and this. Oh, that's because he actually been doing this for a long time. You probably know him, Olali Ki. I don't know
I
if I.
now I am following him on the social media as well. So
Yeah. So actually, I saw his tweet before, but I thought about contacting him, but I didn't have a good reason to contact him. But one
mhm.
day when Gerald shared this tweet, that's a good timing. And that's the kind of the true pathology spirit we're looking for. So I immediately got in touch with him. I say, hey, we got some money left from the previous. Is there anything we can do for you? Do you need a camera or something? So, well, he already had the camera because he had to pay the monthly fees little by little until he can finally afford the whole camera.
Mhm.
So, but then he also mentioned that maybe I need a microscope, a personal microscope.
Okay.
So he can use that at home, do some work, and also educate the students to inspire the medicine student to take pathology as a future career. So wow, that's awesome, Olalik or Dr. Fola Rami. So I think so yes, that I'm gonna help him. So I start looking for him. So I got in touch with the manufacturer where I got all this microscope, and they were also quite keen to help, and they actually gave me a huge discount to get the microscope and post it with the express delivery. So in 2 weeks he received the really brand new hospital grade microscope. So it's not the fancy type of Olympus or Nikon you get, but it's still pretty good. So he likes it, and then we tweet about it, and people likes it. I even launched another mini fundraise with no goals, with £1 goals to see if how much we can raise, and we managed to get £120. So wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So okay, so that actually give us a little bit more to fund the next project. So and then the other project, like the most recent one, is microbiology students who explained to me that they don't have a microscope to learn microbiology. So I asked him. Could you write me a project proposal, what you will do if we get you a microscope? So he's preparing it. He's been actually following our tweet and explained to us lots of being really helpful. So I thought I used the digital pathology scanners, the whole slide scanners to scan some educational slides. So something like those. So I don't know if you've seen them. It's actually quite interesting. So you get lots of slides with tissues or bacteria and plants, botanists samples, mosquito wings. Quite interesting slides. But if they want to look at the samples, they have to get a microscope. Well, we can't get microscope one after another, but then there are probably thousands or millions who need a microscope. So as a start, we scan some of the slides, make it freely available on the website. So they do have mobile phones usually, so they can use the mobile phones to look at what we scan at really high resolution. So they were amazed. So I thought, instead of calling this whole slide sample for educational purpose, that sounds so boring. So let me name this after this student, because this whole idea come from him, like inspired by him. Without him telling us all these issues, I mean, in Africa or in other countries, we couldn't think, we never thought about doing this. So I just call him Akpan Digiscopes, named after him, to sort of with the ideas to help the microbiologists, students, or passionate, or teachers, or anybody who find it useful. So we will scan more and more, and we will update it to our slides. Hopefully it will become a really good database where people who want to learn microbiology but they can't afford a microscope, but they can still see what's under the microscope on their mobile phones or computer.
That is great. Tell us where we can find this. Where is this located?
To find us is quite easy. Well, it's not that easy because we haven't optimized our Google SEO. But you can find us on Twitter, so x_wow.com, or our website x-wow.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there we can find these. Okay, what about future projects? What do you have planned as the next project, next project?
So there's a really ambitious project we're trying to do. So we've been contacting a group of pathologists in Caribbean. So people normally think Caribbean as a beautiful beach, or the movie, or the beautiful beach. But they don't know it's also quite resource-limited countries, and lots of them. I think in total there are 31 countries in the Caribbean area.
Okay.
Yeah. Lots of people didn't know.
I was not aware of that either. There are so many.
I know. And they do have pathologists, but because the geographic features, the islands and island, all of the countries are on the individual islands. But then some of the island have 2 or 3 pathologists, and some island doesn't have a pathologist. But uh, there's a group of pathologists and oncologists trying to establish a network called EC-DON. So they're trying to build a network so they can exchange second opinion remotely between islands instead of shipping the glass slides to each island because it's so expensive. And sometimes they have to ship the boxes of slides to Miami.
Oh, okay.
Which is expensive, time-consuming, and risky for any urgent cases. So, but then of course they need digital pathology, but they can't afford it. So this project is work in progress. We're trying to get them 10 set of equipment to help them go digital at a much lower cost. And we also got in touch with manufacturers in Germany and China who built this low cost, high quality microscope, the camera and the imaging software. So one of them actually was really kind. He offered us about a big discount, like 60% of the retail price.
Wow. Okay.
But they can't afford it, so we're trying to look for the sponsorship, financial sponsorship to make it happen. And one way is through the government fund, and other ways we're still looking at foundations or any other charities, see if you can get it work.
Okay, so that's the newest project, the telepathology network in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
So what has been most difficult for you so far? You have achieved quite some things. It's not even have been a year, but what are the biggest difficulties for you?
I think the biggest difficulty is to popularize the use of microscope. Because in the UK, whenever I ask around, like, do you need a microscope? Are you interested to get one? So most of them doesn't show any interest in microscope. So they don't know why they need a microscope. How does it work? Well, and also it seems easy for us to use microscope, move in the stage, put out the slide, look at it. Wow, amazing! But even if you give them a microscope, even they've learned microbiology in the lab in their primary schools or secondary school, but most of them just doesn't know how to use it, and they don't have any interest. Well, it's a bit sad. So some of the parents even tell that they reflect on our kids' exam grades. Otherwise, we won't be interested. And other children, we want to be internet celebrity. Who wants to be scientists? Yeah, we want to be game streamers. And
Okay. Are we back online?
Yes, I can hear you.
Some difficulties, but that's what sometimes happens when you're conducting interviews overseas.
Yeah.
So you say that the biggest difficulty is recognizing the actual need for a microscope. And
to popularize. Shall we start from the question, or so you can't wait? I did it.
It's okay. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think it's fine.
Okay.
Did you already? Well, you just started, and I hope you have had only successes. But
there's a couple of failures. It's amazing, but we do have failures.
Failures is how you learn. So tell us a failure that helped you learn something new and like change the course.
So in this let's say since December 7-8 months, so we actually gave away 7 microscopes. So 4 of them are in the UK and 3 of them are in Africa. 3 of them or 2 of them, I can't remember. But I think it's in total 7 microscopes. But one of the microscopes when we gave it away, so they start not responding. So I thought, like, once we give it away, so you can share some feedbacks on how the children think about the microscope or what they need, anything we can improve. But nope, nothing. So some. Once we just sometimes occasionally we send them images, message saying how are you doing? Are you using the microscope now? They're quite good. That's it. I can so that I don't know why, but it's actually quite expensive. Well, at least it's not the cheap equipment we just gave them away, but I don't think they're being grateful to receive such a expensive equipment. Are those rare, or instead of giving them away, giving it to them, I could give them to children in Africa, this and that. But they don't appreciate it. But maybe it's because there are really no demands, or people doesn't know how to use it, so there's no interest in them, or maybe children just prefer game streamers, Fortnite or PUBG or any of the games that you've heard.
So basically, you need to kind of qualify your receivers so that
exactly,
so that they make the most of the gift that you're giving. Okay.
Exactly. So that's why when we approach this occupants, the microbiology student, they will really be careful. We ask him for a really detailed proposal, as perhaps some images. So he actually did a pretty good job. He even visited 2 schools around the university. He even prepared these documents. He was thinking like, I need to prepare these documents to get permission to get images taken at the school. So I think he's probably one of the person who will gonna be helping really massively. So because it's been showing there's a passion in him. He wants to be a scientist. There's a passion, so he's trying really hard. So that's good. And other thing is also the other thing is also the training. So sometimes for us, microscope easy to use. They just stage, you put on slides, or even digital pathology scanners. So this manual scanner is basically open the software. Once you launch it, you just move around the stage. So you automatically stitch the image, make a standard whole slice image in real time. But it looks really simple to us, but actually that's the problem we're trying to solve, because when we deploy the equipment to Malawi, so to be honest, until now they're still struggling to set it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so one reason is because they're extremely busy. So imagine in countries like this, well, not exactly Malawi, but other countries, there are 4 pathologists to look after 20 million population. Yeah, so the least thing they have time to do is to learn to read the user manual, how to set it up. So we've been trying to look for a student perhaps to get trained in the UK and travel to Malawi to help them set it up, and maybe to do more work, volunteering work, or the even plan B is myself will find a day to travel to Malawi to help them set it up, and to see if there are any other things we could do that is practical.
Okay. Okay. So, how do listeners can help you, or how your followers can help you?
I think the listeners already help us enough. Like we've raised for 5.7 thousand so far in English pound, and I believe all of them are from their own money. So I think we shouldn't ask for any more donations, like financial real money donations. To keep it going, so that's not good. So we've been thinking about different ways to get funds. One of them is the microscope donation, which is actually a pretty good idea that you suggested. Thank you for donating your microscope. So
I had a retired one that is in need of new home, so I was
So it's actually quite true. I bet there are lots of more microscope laying around in the corner, in the garage, not being used. They're in perfectly working condition, but they just sitting there not being used. It's quite sad for the microscope itself, but also sad for the people who
And I
need it for cut off.
my
Yeah.
microscope. That's why I wanted it to have a new home.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think what the listener to help us is to spread the word. So spread the word. Say if any of you have a retired microscope, or if maybe your institute have microscope that you no longer need it, you wish it to find new home to make a big difference to the world, to the education and cancer diagnosis in Africa or in other countries where they can't afford the microscope. So just let us know. We will cover their shipping. So we'll write articles. We'll acknowledge your support, make it more stories, more like instead of Xwow helping students in developing countries with microscope, we will write it in a way that this person has a really nice retired microscope, but he was so kindly donated to a student in this and that make it more and to inspire more and more people to help each other.
Okay, so let us share this. Let us share the word.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, anything else that I maybe should have asked and I didn't ask?
I don't think so. I think you've covered everything.
We covered a lot.
Yeah.
So you already said where you can be found on the internet, but just say it once again. Where can we find you on the internet?
So you can find us on Twitter, so X_Wow.com. So X_WOWCOM or X-Wow.com.
Okay, so there we're gonna look. Thank you very much for this interview. I hope it's gonna work fine even with our technical difficulties.
I'm sure it will work fine, yes.
Yeah, let's share this, let's spread the word, and let's make the difference.
Thank you for listening. For more great digital pathology resources, visit the Digital Pathology Consulting website and subscribe to our newsletter on digitalpathologyconsulting.com. After subscribing, you will get access to the free annotation guidelines, which will help you annotate slides consistently in all your digital pathology projects. Talk to you in the next episode.